Alright, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to replace your road bike brake caliper. So the first step is to remove the wheel from the bike. So you're going to want to flip this little quick release up, and then since this is the rear wheel, I'm shifted into the highest gear, so the smallest sprocket in the back. Okay, so with that out of the bike, you are going to need to pull this little cable end cap off just with some pliers. And now you can just undo the little clamp bolt, and the cable should become loose. So now you can remove the cable from your caliper. So now you can remove the caliper from the bike. There's a recessed nut back here that's usually a 5mm Allen key, and if you just undo that, your caliper should become loose and you can just unscrew it. And then it should pull out of the bike just like that. And you're going to want to keep track of your hardware, because if your brake caliper, if your new one doesn't come with this little washer, you will need that, and you will also need this recessed nut. Alright, so now you can take your new brake caliper and you're going to want to put this, the nut with the little teeth on it, sitting closest to the caliper, so it's between the caliper and the frame. And you can just insert that, put the nut in the back, and then screw it in. Now don't tighten it all the way up because the caliper still needs to be centered. So now you can put the cable back through the barrel adjuster, and then there should be a little nut with a washer, and there should be a little channel in there, and you're going to want to make sure that the cable goes through that little channel. Alright, so now you can put the wheel back into the bike. And you are going to want to make sure that the wheel is seated fully into the dropouts. So you can either pull up on the wheel pretty firmly while it's in the stand and do up the quick release, or you could set the bike on the ground and then release the quick release and then do it back up. Now you can set the cable tension. You just squeeze the caliper with your hands and make sure your quick release is down, and then you can just do up this 5mm bolt right here. Now it's time to center the brakes. So this is a dual pivot brake, so I can just squeeze the lever and then snug this up a little bit. And then I can just hold the caliper with my hand and snug it up, not too tight because this is a carbon frame and you can crack the carbon. But now it should be centered. If your brakes isn't a dual pivot, or it's not quite centered, then you can just loosen the bolt back here, and then you can just move it so that there's an equal gap between the pads on each side of the rim, and if it looks centered, it is centered. Alright, so the last step is to reinstall the cable end cap, and I just reuse these because they basically have no purpose other than to keep the cable from fraying. And then you just squeeze it on there with a pair of pliers, and that's it. If this helped you or you found it interesting, please give me a like and subscribe. See you next time.